Yeah, talking about paperwork, we want to unravel the situation of paperwork in each country or in different places, how paperwork works and how paperwork is reviewed. And I am going to share some of my stories about how I found out paperwork, how when I was growing up in Zimbabwe and living in America. But today, we are going to talk about that, how the paperwork from letter to business papers to different, how it's viewed and how it's taken and how people, they do business in between there. It's just going to be a short video, but that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello, my name is Elsie. I'm the owner of the Vision Production. I'm an author, poet, speaker, and a writer. If you want more information about that, I have some links below where you can talk to me. You can ask questions. You can, get some of my material on all these things centering on cultures and traditions and all that. And today we are going to talk about how paperwork viewed in different places. Particularly, as you know, I talk a lot about Zimbabwe and the US, where I have lived. And I want to share a little story when I first came to America. And maybe a background of that is that in Zimbabwe, as I was growing up and all my, I would say, adulthood after high school and so on, letters and papers were viewed with such care and, like delicacy in a sense. Certain paper was not just, to just use for anything, was for business, was, and it has all these different names and grades and, like that. And I remember always, like, when you get a letter was so precious, right? When you get a letter, it was precious, and everybody kind of like is anxious to want to know what the letter is saying and all that, right? And I remember coming here, and the letters were just like piled up and coming and coming and coming. And I remember sitting down, almost like preparing like an hour or more of wanting to open up all these letters and just trying to find out. And then you hear all this advertising, you're going to get a vacation, you're going to do this. And I would follow everything and try to do everything that they say so I can get to this vacation, and only to find out actually nothing was happening. And I remember talking to this one sister, and she said to me, are you telling me you're opening everything? I said, yeah. Because to me, the paper itself told me it was special. It was important. No one can use such paper for something so minor, like it's nothing. At that time, I had no idea of this vast difference of way of thinking and how people they do. I spent some months doing that before I knew there's anything called junk mail. So I end up, learning those things, but still it was very hard for me to adjust from understanding a mail coming to me, addressed to me, can just be a junk mail. How is that? It was just like, how did they know my name? How did they, everything I had to learn. These are some real, like you can say, business things that I had to learn as I go, because it was like something new. When I get a letter in Zimbabwe, or someone get a letter in Zimbabwe, at that time, it was an important letter. There was no junk mail. I never heard even the name called a junk mail. There was nothing like that. Every letter was important. That's how important the paper was. So it started from the paper. So today I'm going to focus on how paperwork works in America and how much paperwork you need to do anything in America. Anything that you can think of, you want to get an apartment, you get a house, a car, whatever, how much paperwork you need. And comparing to how much paperwork you need in Zimbabwe to do more or less the same things. So last year I went to Zimbabwe. One of my things that I wanted to do there was to change the name of the house we bought there into my name from my sister. So we had to go to the real estate agent, and I'm going to show you to really show this is real. This is not like thing. This is the deed of the that I went there for. These are receipts, as you can see. It's different. And we went to do the change of the name from my sister to my name. That process, the only thing you might face, I would say, would be like a little bit like waiting a little bit, maybe. You wait a little bit to get to be seen. Even there's no line sometimes, you still have to wait a little bit. But this time was really quick for me at that time. I don't know all the time. I don't live there, but it was very quick. We arrived, we sat maybe about 5 minutes or so, and we were taken in, and we went and start doing the paperwork. Now, I want to tell you this is truth. And I'm saying the truth as it is. I'm going to count this paper. This is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have another one that came together with the same. This is from the lawyer, 1, 2. So altogether, I can say I have about 7 pieces of paper to change the house, a whole house, from my sister's name to my name. And I want to give you, just recently, we just took another move. We are still moving a lot here in America, but we just took another move. And I want to let you know how much of the paperwork we had to do to get, not a house, mind you, but to get an apartment, just to be approved for an apartment, our lease papers. And when I counted, I can't do that here for you and kind of like make you be on the edge. But this is 54 pages that we had to sign. Most of them, as you can see, there's a signature there down here, which is, e-signature, but most of them we had to put our signature. Almost. You see that signature there? We had to put a signature. And this process could take you days, because they might want anybody who live in America, you know what I'm talking about. They might say, well, you don't have this and that and that. You need to go and get this and that. Then you have to stop there. You need to go and take. It could take you almost 3 days to a week, unless if you're one who is so organized and so precise, and you know exactly what is needed, and you take everything that is needed. But I just wanted to show you the difference and how much time is taken doing things like this. A lot, most of the time, a lot. Compared to, I would say, in Zimbabwe, how much time people take to do more or less or more the same thing. And I always think, if a place like Zimbabwe has as much machinery and technology and all that the same way, and they don't change this, then things will move way much more faster. But because of the technology, sometimes things are moved backwards, things are slower because the technology is still slower. Here with the technology, the more work and the more paperwork you have to do. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe people who know about all this can actually help us to understand exactly. This is a system where 100%, I managed to read this. And as you can see, everything is in bold letters. Literally, everything is more in bold letters. Something that you can actually say, give me a minute, let me read this. In about 10 minutes, you can read every paper that you're going to sign. I cannot, no matter how much I try and say, compared to these bold letters that you see here, compare this and just see which one can you say, yeah, I can read and I can see what's going on. And this one, that every paper literally is looking the same. There's no way you can read this. So what we do, we sign. We just sign. No questions asked. We just sign. And when you sign the wrong paper, unfortunate, if something happened down the line and you don't know what I was signing, too bad. You're on your own because you can't read. Most people, we cannot read this. The only way you can do is to go to a lawyer. Maybe they can help you to read the paper. And most of the time, you don't have time to try and send the papers to the lawyers. We're trying to get a place to live. So most of the time you don't have the time. So you pretty much just put your signature without reading. And I just wanted to show you the difference. I'm not talking about, remember, I never talk about what's better and what's not. I always say these are the differences that I see in different places. And it's not anything to judge one place from the one to the other. No, it's just to share information. So if you haven't taken that time and you see what you see here, sounds like it's good, and also someone else might enjoy this. These are good information to know, because some people, they get so impatient, so frustrated when they found out some of these things when they didn't know. The example of me, I spent a lot of time because I didn't know. If someone had told me, well, in America there's something called junk mail, so you don't have to worry about opening every letter that comes, maybe I would have saved my life. But I would block 2 hours to try and read every mail, which was ridiculous. But I did it because I didn't know this junk mail, and now I can smell it. When it comes, I just throw in the garbage. I just throw in the garbage because I know what junk mail look like and how it feels like, everything I know. And now it doesn't mean anything anymore. So, but if you know, you can kind of look out. So that's the purpose of my videos, for the most part, to just kind of like give a hint. It's not everything, a hint. And then you can be aware and you can take care of things the way you want to. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Subscribe to this video and also watch more videos of mine. I have tons of videos that you can watch, centering on cultures and traditions, lifestyle, Zimbabwe, America, and some parts of the world that I've been. And also will be anybody who is interested to share their story, please catch me. I have a link down below my email that you can send me, that you are interested to share, so you can be on this platform. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.